Welcome to Chapter 2, Section 2. In this video we're going to be downloading WordPress from wordpress.org, and we're going to be installing it onto our XAMPP server. So let's go to wordpress.org. And at this time 3.5.1 is the current version. It's the latest version. So you just want to click on download and download WordPress over in the right and just save that. I actually already have it, but I'll download it again. So while that's downloading, what we need to do is prepare our local environment for WordPress. So we need a database. In the last video we installed XAMPP and I showed you the phpMyAdmin interface. So we want to go back to that, and you can get there through localhost/phpMyAdmin. And I'm going to log in, and you can see I have databases on the left here. I'm going to create a new database, and I think I should actually go over the project that we're going to do. We just need something to build so that we can go through each section and you can learn this stuff. I'm just going to create a personal web development blog, and we're going to call it My Web Dev. Alright, so it'll consist of a WordPress site with some static pages like About Me or in a contact form, stuff like that, as well as a full blog system. And we're going to set up some plugins, some widgets, pretty much go over every aspect of WordPress using this site. So let's create the database for that, and I'm just going to call it My Web Dev. Alright, so now if we look in the left hand side, we can see the My Web Dev database. If we click on that, you can see we have an empty database. There's no tables. The tables will be created when we install WordPress. So now we want to go to the htdocs folder, and that should be in your C drive, and then XAMPP, and then htdocs. I actually have it in my libraries, so I'll be accessing it from here, but the default location is the C drive. And obviously you're not going to have all this. These are just pretty much just development sites that I already have. I'm going to create a new folder, which you should too, and I'm going to call it My Web Dev. And in that folder is where we want the WordPress files. So go back to wherever you downloaded the WordPress package. It's in my downloads folder somewhere in here. Alright, so you want to open the zip package and go into the WordPress folder, and you want to grab all of the files in that folder and put them into your My Web Dev folder. Alright, so now we have all of the folders and files we need. If we go ahead and visit localhost/mywebdev, it's telling us that we don't have a configuration file that we need. So it's telling us we need a wp-config.php file. If we go to the files for our WordPress site, we can see that we have, where is it? wp-config-sample.php. So we actually have to change that to the file that they're looking for. So all we need to do is get rid of that sample and the leading dash and make it wp.config, or sorry, -config. And now we want to open up that file. I'm going to use Notepad++. It's a really good free editor if you want to just Google Notepad++, or you can just use the standard Notepad. So what we need to do here is fill in our database fields, and that's this area here. If you remember, we created the database, so the database name what it's doing is putting the date. We're going to put the database name into this constant. This is a constant, which is like a variable, except that it doesn't change. So we want to put the name of the database, which was my web dev, and we wanted to put the user into this constant, which is root, and then we want the password for the database, the one that we plugged into phpMyAdmin. And this 90% of the time will be localhost. If you're using XAMPP, then it's localhost, but some companies, some hosting providers will give you something different to use for the host, but most of the time it's localhost, so we can leave that. And that's everything we need to set up. We can now save that, and now let's go back to localhost / mywebdev and reload that. And now it brings us to the installation. So the first thing it asks for is a site title, mywebdev, and this is where you'll create your actual WordPress login. By default, it gives you admin as a username. I'm just going to keep that as is. If you have a live site on the internet, you might want to change it because hackers know that admin is the default username. I'm going to put in a password, and you want to put in an email address. I'll just put my Gmail. And this is pretty important. You want to make sure this is checked so you can allow search engines to index your site. If you uncheck this, your site will not show up in Google or Bing or any of those providers. So now we want to just click install WordPress, and it does its magic, and now it's been successfully installed. So if we go back to phpMyAdmin, if we reload our web dev database, you can see that all the WordPress tables are there. So now we can click login, and it's important to note the URL of the admin login. It's always going to be your site /wp-login.php. So bookmark that, remember it. That's where you're going to log in. So if we put in our username and password, log in, and this is our dashboard. This is where we'll start creating posts, adding pages, media, plugins. It's a very user-friendly interface. I think it's one of the best in terms of, if the users aren't that tech savvy. It's pretty self-explanatory, but we will go into a tour in the next video. So we can see it's up and running. Let's just check the front end. If you go up to here, it'll have your site name and visit site. Now this is the front end of our site. This is our website. This is the default template that comes with WordPress. Very, very simple. It gives you a sample inner page. By default, the home page is going to be a blog roll, so that'll be all your latest posts. But we'll go into that in the next video. So that's how you install WordPress. Everything's up and running well, so I'll see you in the next section.